It's gonna be one of those days where I have to talk. I don't have to, but I'm going to talk about a story that I read about that's tragic, horrendous, and sad. This kid, 14-year-old kid, murdered by a 19-year-old friend. Well, what was it called? Gaming partner was the term they used in the story. Now, let me fill you in on a little details here. Kid was 14. I was a little confused when I read this because it was like the American mother of the 14-year-old daughter was a 14-year-old boy was killed by an online gaming partner in Britain. And I was like, wait, why would someone in America be killed by someone in Britain? But I'm guessing what they mean is like, the mother's American, but they live in the UK. So this happened in the UK, I guess. So apparently this 14-year-old kid was into gaming as most people are these days. Mostly apparently into PC gaming, which, whatever, if you're a PC gamer, that's not here nor there. But he liked to build computers and make the absolute best one he could for himself. He didn't want to just simply buy a computer. And he made, his own custom PC. And he played online on games. They don't specify what games, but he was playing online. He had, chatted online with friends and whatnot. And he met this 19-year-old guy, I guess. That's a bit of an age difference, to be honest. I mean, that's 5 years, which some people might find that creepy, but I mean, like, there's people who are on my friends list who've been kids or whatever. They don't last very long on my friends list because they always annoy the hell out of me, and then I get rid of them. But, my point is, these stories like this are so out of the blue, out of left field, as the saying goes. And so anyway, the story goes, the mother had, how people say, like, mother's intuition, and mothers can sense things and whatever, and the mother in the video, which it doesn't play on the Wii U browser, but whatever, was saying that for months she got a bad feeling about this kid, or a teenager, I guess, because 19 is still technically a teenager. But she got a bad vibe from him, which normally, like they always say, go with your instincts, because for the most part they're always true, they're always legit. I don't even think that's something science can really, what's the word, disprove or, like, give an explanation as to what causes instincts. But either way, at one point, this kid was supposed to go to, what was it, his father's house, and then the father texted the mom saying, like, oh, he didn't show up, and then later, apparently this kid's siblings, I don't know if it was brothers or sisters or both or whatever, they got text messages or messages in general on social media or something, where apparently the kid went over to the 19-year-old guy's house, and the dude messaged his siblings. The murderer messaged his siblings saying, "Your brother's dead," or something like that. I don't know the exact words. And the sick fuck actually posted pictures of the dead kid on social media. And that's... I mean, man, I'm finding it even hard to talk about stories like this, because even though I'm a pretty cold-hearted person, I mean, there's still... I'm not heartless in that sense. Stories like this kind of choke me up, and upset me a bit, as any normal person would be upset about it. But my point is, you really have to have a lot of problems mentally in your brain. Your brain chemistry's got to be all mixed up. You're, mix-matching wires in your brain. You're not getting enough oxygen, or, your marbles, you're missing a few marbles, or whatever the saying is you want to use. This idiot, I don't even know a word to describe the killer. this thing really, had problems. That's the best way I can easily say it. Um, oh, it even says here, I just noticed he was originally from Michigan, now living in England. But one other thing I wanted to say before I forget is I don't like how they incorporated the words online gamer into this story, because that's going to add to the fodder of violent video games make people more violent, when clearly this kid, this 19-year-old teenager murderer, used gaming. How do I phrase this? Instead of using gaming for good, he used it for evil, or for bad. He used it as a tool to kill this kid. I don't think he killed anyone else or anything. And he's not going to, because he's going to jail and being tried and whatever. But I think we should clarify right now. Gaming, violent video games, that doesn't make people violent. They were already violent. They were just murderers can be intelligent people, like serial killers or whatever. They use tools to assist them in doing crimes. So gaming was a victim in this as well. That's not the focus I want to talk about, but I'm just saying, by stories like this, don't blame video games for it. Now, you could argue, if video games weren't around, the kid would still be alive. Although, with PC gaming, you'd still have Skype, you'd still chat with strangers, so forth, so on. So again, I just want to clarify, don't blame video games for stuff like this happening. But anyway, I don't even know, I've lost my train of thought. I was reading comments, and people want, I've seen a lot of people saying, like, this is why we have the death penalty, and this guy deserves the death penalty. And even though this is in the UK, people were saying, well, they don't have the death penalty over there, and people saying, well, they should, and people arguing like humans always do about, like, oh, what is the death penalty? What does that solve? It doesn't do anything, which is true. You can't I can't even talk. You can't just snap your fingers, kill the murderer, and expect it to bring the victim back. It doesn't work that way. People think it does, but the thing is, when a horrendous incident or a tragedy happens, people's emotions take control and go way out of whack, and they override every other part of your system and your logic and all that. So it's like the saying blind rage, or blind with rage. So rage is definitely one of the emotions you're going to feel with one of these types of stories. Which it should, because, otherwise you're a heartless bastard, to be honest. But my point is that, man, I'm losing my train of thought. This is like a ridiculous story. And this is one of those stories where it's just like, humanity is capable of good things, but to balance it out, I guess, there's got to be equally horrendous things, And it sucks, when, people get killed for the stupidest things. It's not even like, oh, you're in the mafia, so you're risking your life or something, or you're a police officer risking your life, although cops are useless these days. By the way, the mom had actually talked to the cops before this had happened, and she was like, I don't get a good vibe about this, but, cops, they only will work if something's happened. They can't just go on a mother's intuition. They can't go, even if you see a person who's, intimidating and looks like a thug or something, who roughs people up or something, the police can't do anything, because until he actually does, you can't, which is a flawed system. And it goes with what I've said before, humanity is incapable of truly understanding each other. That's why there's never going to be world peace. That's just a fucking illusion, as long as there's more than one human on the planet, there's going to be conflict, there's going to be crazy people, there's going to be normal people, there's everyone. That's just part of life. But back onto the point of the wanting, like, the murderer to be executed. You know, I don't know. I don't have much of an opinion on, do I think he deserves to just, electric chair or lethal injection or whatever. There's different sides to that story, different bits of information where, people are like, well, it costs more to the government to kill someone than to, for life in prison. And I was reading one comment where someone was saying, putting him in prison, well, then he could just kill someone else in prison. And I'm thinking, so you want the criminal to die, but if he's in prison and he kills other prisoners, isn't that kind of the same thing you want? You want criminals to die, so if he killed other criminals in prison, you're getting what you wanted anyway. Unless you're talking about, like, a security guard dying or something, but I don't know. These stories they're horrible, but you gotta talk about things like this. You can't just brush it under the rug. You can't just ignore them. You gotta share it. The message I think you gotta take out of this, though, is you really gotta... It's one of the oldest things that people were taught even back in the day before I was even born, like the whole don't talk to strangers. Now, granted, that's how you're making friends, is you're talking to someone you're not acquainted with. But that's not saying just flat out never talk to another person on the planet. That's saying, be cautious, be smart, don't be stupid, don't be someone who, like the mom said, that her kid, he didn't fear anything. He was just he had the mindset where, he's invincible and no one could possibly be out there who'd want to hurt anyone and that type of thing. You can't have that attitude. I'm not blaming the kid, no fucking way. I'm just saying to other people, to prevent this type of thing, be careful who you are involved with. And like people, especially like in the States, there's lots of gangs in cities and whatnot. And if you have a friend who's not, you shouldn't be hanging out with that crowd where, they could be involved with drugs or something, or who knows what all else, something that's not good, then you should probably not hang out with them. So, yeah, I don't know what else really to say about this. I have a feeling my gamepad's gonna go dim here, so I'll just wiggle the screen a little bit just to keep it from going dim. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Do I think the guy deserved, the electric chair? I don't know. It wouldn't solve anything. It would kill the guy, and it might make the parents feel good for, a day, a week, maybe even a month, but eventually the truth will hit them, and, their son ain't coming back, And pretty much everyone out there has dealt with a death, one way or another, in a family, whether it's, a grandparent dying, like my own from, last year, or a murder from someone in your family, or, like, someone in your family being murdered, I mean. Or even, like, it could be just a work accident, or who knows, get hit by a car or something. My point is, everyone's been through the loss of a family member, pretty much, so you should be able to sympathize with this. And, it's sad that humans are capable of, such lows, such crippling lows in society. You have, and it's not necessarily always the murderer's fault. I mean, it sounds harsh to say that, but I mean, if you're not in control of how your brain is when you're born. You're born the way you are, and it's just that simple. It's just, that's DNA. Unless in the future there's, modified DNA, you're a roll of the dice. That's what everyone is. You roll the dice, and that's what your kid is. It sounds weird to say that, but that's how I feel. So, I mean, you can have medication and stuff to help prevent stuff like this if you're, a person who's gonna be a serial killer or something, I guess, but my point is, I don't think it's fair, because we don't know all the details, to say, even though this kid, he planned, or this teenager planned to kill the kid, I don't think that you know, if you had talked to the kid when he was like 5 instead of 19 or something, and if you said in 14 years you're going to kill someone, I mean, I don't think he would be aware of that. So I'm just saying there's really no right answer, is what I'm saying, for how this should go. A punishment is, of course, necessary for the killer, because you can't do a crime without punishment. Otherwise, the world doesn't make any sense, even though I am for the whole idea of anarchy, but uh, I don't know. I don't really need to babble on much longer. So, what should the punishment be? I don't know. I mean, life in prison, of course, is a solid thing, but should he die for it? It doesn't really solve anything. It doesn't really do much of anything, and it's even like those ISIS, the crazy ISIS groups, or group, I should say, where they kill people just for random shit, like they don't like their religion or something, or their race or whatever. So no, killing someone because it's the law, you know, because it's, oh, if they killed someone, so we have to kill them. You're sinking to the same depths of low, or the same low depths as a terrorist, really. You're not having the same message, and you're not being a terrorist, but you're doing exactly what the terrorists do. Killing people without any benefit. There's no benefit to killing anyone, period, to be honest, but anyway, these stories are always so sad to see when they pop up, but whenever they do, I always do a video usually talking about them. I wouldn't be surprised if that guy on YouTube, Alpha Omega Sin, I'm subscribed to, if he talks about this too. Anyway, that's all I want to say in this video, so enjoy the video. Well, not enjoy the video, but stay tuned. More videos coming soon, I guess. It's going to be, hopefully I can get happy again playing Captain Toad, but we'll see you next time. More videos coming soon, as always.